Okay, hello, everyone. Good morning. We are going to convene the June 7th, 2022 RPRC meeting. We have 7 items on today's agenda, and the first one we have is 606 Bedford Road. Let me share the screen. We can start that discussion. Okay. Adjust my screen. Give me a second here. Okay, so you could see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
So we previously approved a pool which required some regrading in the backyard, and there were some issues, if you recall, along this side lot line with trees being removed, and I think that became an issue with Rob. So we resolved all of that. Now the applicant is back. Essentially, this tree you can see is buried by at least a couple feet of fill here. So we probably need to require the removal of this tree. And then I think the major question is, do we want to see anything replanted in its place? Any thoughts, concerns about this tree?
Adam, yes, for both. The tree's going to die.
Yeah.
It would be great if we can replace it at least on a 2-to-1 ratio.
Okay,
Can you go back to the site plan?
sure.
I just think, I know they got a pretty intense planting plan on this property, if I remember right.
Is it shown?
I don't know what
Rob,
they're-
is it shown?
Yeah, I don't know what's happening on this side. I know we dealt with the other side.
Yeah, because it didn't show fill in that area on the site plan, I don't believe.
It looks like the fill ended over here. Yeah, it didn't extend all the way over here.
Yeah. So they expanded on the fill, I guess, right up to the property line.
Yeah,
They don't have a fill permit to bring in fill, so if they're bringing in fill, they got to pay for all that.
all right, well, I don't know if they brought it in or, this is from the pool. Rob,
There's only so many yards in the pool.
yeah,
I mean,
I don't
they
know.
built all the stepped walls in the back.
Yeah,
I
it
would
looked
think
like
the fill would have been
it was
spread down to the hole.
an import job.
Yeah.
So is that a new wall on the other side of the tree? Right, because it looks like there's like a wall on the other side of the tree, right? That's holding all that fill up. Was that on the plan?
Here's-
Let's go back to the site plan again.
Well, it looks like the wall,
No.
yeah, you're right. Look, it looks like the wall should have ended before it gets to here.
Well before the tree, but I guess
Yeah.
in reality it didn't. And was that a new wall or that was the existing wall?
It looks
This,
like
it was a new wall.
top of it, it looks like a new wall, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that property just sloped off pretty fiercely off the back.
Mhm.
I mean, they raised the whole back to level it out, right, John?
Yeah, but they showed it sloping down to the pool. You see the 56, 54, 52
Yeah.
contour, but it looked like maybe they built a wall. I'll talk to my guys and see what is
Let
it?
your guys know if people are bringing in fill, that there needs a permit for that. It's one thing I've been finding a lot lately, and we haven't really addressed it, has been fill in town. A lot of people are bringing fill in without filing permits for it. So
Well,
if you
the
guys
site
pick
plan-
up on that, let me
And
know.
if- And
The site
John,
plan, the site plan shows fill, it's a fill job. Look at all the fill behind the pool.
Yeah, I mean, that's all gotta get, there's a fee for all that we charge. It's $3 a yard.
But you don't handle that when you give out the permit?
It's been something that's been kind of never really enforced.
So maybe we have to have them state that on the drawings from now on.
Yeah, I told Adam the other day, I'm gonna have to change some of these applications to indicate that, are you bringing fill in? Are you chipping?
I did do
Because a lot
that.
of guys are chipping without any, without
I
any
did both.
permits either.
Rob, in our letters, we note both.
Yeah, I just don't think anybody follows up on it, honestly.
That may be true, but John, if there are other issues that the site plan that's in the field doesn't match what we approved, then, we got to deal with that. If it's not a
Yeah,
field change that you're okay with.
I'll speak to my inspectors, see what's going on.
Yeah,
Then they came back to you with this application, Adam?
yeah.
Yeah.
The applicant. So what, how do we want to proceed here?
Well, it looks like he should modify his site plan.
Yeah, I would think so. You gotta modify to what they're doing there. I mean, obviously, they're not building according to the plans.
So then don't approve the tree removal until we'll do the tree removal and the modification at the same time? Do you think?
I would say so.
I think we should, yeah.
Okay.
And they should
Yeah.
probably replace the tree 2 to 1, right? They should replace 2 trees
Yeah,
back.
yes, but I don't think we'll take any action now, and we'll say
Right.
coordinate whatever other changes are needed to the site plan, and then we'll amend the site plan, or we'll discuss it, and then deal with the tree at that point.
Yeah,
Adam, how long has the tree been buried?
Well, the pool's under construction now, so not that
In
one.
other words, can it be, I was just thinking out loud, I love the 2 to 1 suggestion, but can it be saved? What if they excavate around it and ring it, or is it too late for that?
never too late for that.
Yeah, I don't know how much damage.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I understand.
I
Okay,
don't
just
know.
curious. That's
I
fine.
mean, it's either that or we don't allow them to fill in the property that far over and follow the plan that was approved.
Yeah, that's what Steve was saying.
Yeah,
No, but I understand, but I'm just trying to, attack the gray area here, but I do like both of your concerns, Rob and John, regarding maybe just do an updated, or, at quote unquote, like an as-built or an updated site plan, and maybe just modify it.
Because the plan clearly shows that there was no fill proposed in that area.
Right. I do like I would, unless you have a conversation with the owner and say, what do you want to do, this or this?
Or there are other options, they have to curve the wall, right? Because if the grade came up too high, they have to manipulate
Yeah,
that
but-
retaining wall differently than they manipulated it.
Yes, that's possible, or remove the fill and go back to the originally approved plan.
Right,
We'll
right.
have to have that conversation with them.
right. That's what I was thinking.
Yep. All right, so then what we'll do is say we note other site plan changes and that they should come back to the RPRC so we understand it, and then further discuss the site changes and the tree removal, right? Everyone okay with that?
yeah, and just put in there, Adam, that they need a fill permit.
Mm-hmm, okay,
So
Yeah.
anytime you issue a site plan that requires fill to be brought into the site, it's a second permit.
yes.
Yeah, so anything over 50 yards of fill requires a permit. You get free up to 50 yards.
Okay.
And then it's 200 and you're free up to 250 yards of bank run if you're doing a septic. So
Okay.
anything over 250, they got to get a permit for.
Okay, in the past.
And then you guys review all that.
Yeah, but in the past, it's always been, if a site plan is issued with fill, that was part of the fill permit. But now you
Yeah,
have
the
a
only,
sep-
the
now you
problem
require a
with
separate
that is
permit.
fine, but my only issue is then there's no way for me to collect my fee if they don't actually apply for a fill permit. Because there's a like I said, $3 a yard fee charge.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it's a nice fee.
Okay, so I've noted that they'll come back and we'll note the fill permit again, but we do that, Rob, whether they're, sinking.
Yeah, I'll talk to
whether
my
that's
staff
sinking in,
about
I
it, and
don't
then it's gonna change the building permit application too.
know. Okay,
Yeah, and
Put it in there.
I'll start having them put the cut and fill information on the plan, determine whether
Yeah,
they
how many yards
require-
there is.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like Dominic came in the other day building the new house on Orchard,
Yeah,
and he paid for like 200 yards of fill.
okay,
I'll make sure it's on the site plans.
let's go to Wampus. Just, we have the owner here, we'll let them in. All right, Kay, you're with us?
Yes, I am.
Great, glad you got it working and you're able to join us, I'm going to share our screen and let the committee see what you're proposing.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to show the picture so they see. So this is the side of the house, existing row of trees that are, you could see clearly overgrown and not providing any screening at this point. Let's see if I've got.
They're actually hemlocks from I'm Winkler, and we had the garden center and we had Winkler Farm at the other end of town of 52 acres, and we grew hemlocks at the time. And those are hemlocks that we planted there probably, I'm trying to think when we bought that house, maybe the early 80s. And so they're really getting old, and they're loaded with woolly adelgid. We've sprayed and sprayed them, and they're just getting weak, and they're falling down. And one storm caused a hole through the roof and water inside the house. And so they're becoming a hazard. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid somebody's going to get seriously hurt.
Yeah. Yep, I understand. You can see, why you need to take some action here.
Right. They've lost all their bottoms, so they're top heavy.
Yep, and you're proposing to extend the fence along this side property line.
Yes, the fence goes basically around the property, but not down where those trees are. So
Yeah.
we'd like to extend the fence there down. I
And
don't
then-
remember how many sections.
Yep, and then you're proposing between the street and the house to shrubs along that property line, correct?
Well, the street, there's already taxes there growing.
Oh,
There's
I
a
see.
hedge of taxes on the street.
Okay,
This is the side yard.
okay. So I guess the real question for the RPRC is one, are you amenable to removing these hemlocks? And then the second question is, do you want to see any new vegetation along with the fence? One option is to have the shrubs continue along that side property line.
Adam, is there any opportunity on the applicant for putting a few trees along that corridor?
Trees, I would say, it's a tight fit, right? There isn't that much room. You could see the foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are little lots. They're little
Yeah.
lots on Wampus Avenue, and there's not a whole lot of room
Yeah, I see that. Okay, thank you.
for the spread. The spread, even if I put back hemlocks, the spread of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I agree. So how
And
does
if there's anybody who loves trees and shrubs, just drive by my house. It's over landscaped. I mean, that's my life, So I'm not one of these that just takes down trees just to take them down. I don't like them. I'm taking them down because I feel that they're becoming dangerous.
Have you spoken to your neighbor at all?
Not for a long time. I know these trees, he's always picking up stuff in his yard as we are. They're always dropping branches and needles, and they're just too big to maintain anymore for the heights,
Hmm?
If they had been kept topped off, maybe we could have kept them a little lower, but like I said, they were planted probably in the early 80s. And trees, I feel life, and people have to realize that also. And I'm a lover of trees and landscape and annuals, perennials, all that stuff, because that's what I grew up with.
No, the only reason why I ask is just because we've had neighbor disputes over trees. And that's
Mhm.
like right on the property line. So I just don't want to see like the neighbor calling us saying, well, those are my trees.
Yeah. No,
they're so-
they're on our they're on our property. They were not planted on the line. They were planted inside.
Okay.
I've lived in this town all my life, so I am aware of some of those things that can happen and what people do.
Yeah. Just trying to avoid an issue with your neighbor.
Oh, of course, of course. I don't want any neighbor, listen, I'm a good neighbor. I've never had neighbor problems. I like to be a good neighbor.
The curbing on that the driveway that I'm looking at through the trees, is that the neighbor's driveway?
Yes.
Yes.
The only thing I'm
Remember,
thinking about is,
most,
the only thing I'm thinking about, a quick comment, is if are you going to remove stumps, or are you just going to cut them flush to the ground and let them rot accordingly? Because you may dislodge some of those curb stones if it's intense, if you have to get in there with some kind of machinery to remove those stumps. Just cut them, mulch them, fence, and then just let them rot accordingly. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Because if you start,
yeah, that's fine with me. They're not, the diameter is not very large.
yeah, they're 8 to 10. So
But we could just cut them at ground level. We could certainly do that.
I yield to the professionals. Maybe just another thought. I haven't just an idea. I'm not sure how much you want to rip up this stuff, because those roots will probably undermine that driveway quite a bit.
Yeah, no, Steve, I think that's a good suggestion.
And Adam, the 6-foot stockade fence is ending at tree number 10.
Right. And then it's
Okay.
going to go until, these shrubs here.
Yeah, tree number 10.
Okay.
Does the committee okay with this proposal?
I have no
I'm good.
issue with it.
All right, then I'll make a motion to send this to the building department.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 All right, Kay, so we'll post this determination letter, and you'll bring that to the building department. Okay?
Okay.
For-
Thank
for
you
the-
all
for the
very
actual
much.
permit. Okay.
Thank you all.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right, next is 88 Byram Ridge Road. Seth, you're with us for this application?
Yes, I am. How are you?
Great. Do you have the plans, and do you want to take us?
And actually, my architect should be on as well.
Okay, who is that?
That's Joe Pataki.
Yep, I see him.
Okay. I like your virtual background over there.
Yes.
Fancy.
All right, so Joe, you're with us? Though I do not see a microphone for him. We'll give him a minute to see if he can join. If not, I'll pull up the plans.
Yeah, and I'm happy to take you through it as well.
Okay. Just get my paperwork here. All right, Joe, you want to unmute and take the committee through the plans?
Sure.
Great.
Other side of the property. And then now the owners wanted to add a first floor addition, bedroom addition.
Joe, why don't you bring up the plan so we can see, we can follow along?
Okay, let's see. Hmm.
Joe, do you want me to share them if you can't get to them? Great.
So the new section is this section here that's on the right side. And we pretty much just made it mirror the addition that we did on the left side, but it's just one story. And then there was an existing door here that we're removing and just putting windows to match these windows. And this siding here was existing. And then this is just going to match the addition over here.
Mhm.
And it's, you can see here, this is the front over here. It's set back a little bit from the front. So it's not going to come out towards the front yard setback on that side because the road starts to curve a little bit. So this will be set back about 4 feet from here.
Yep. You want to go over the other elements?
Then in the rear, you have this section here, which is just, you know, a little 3-season room.
Yeah, yeah. No, we can see this part. I meant the site plan, the pool and all of that.
Oh, let me see if I have the pool in here. Yeah, this is the pool here. I don't have the plan that shows the pad for the equipment.
Yeah, I mean, that was my
So
general.
the only change is what, the addition to the side of the house?
And
This,
yeah,
yeah, this section here.
in the
Okay.
rear. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think the addition looks fine. I don't really have an issue with
Okay.
it as far as looks.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you commented on that, John. You know, I think the site plan for the pool needs a little bit of work, right? There's not
Well,
much.
is the pool approved?
No. There
Oh,
wasn't much information here to
okay.
go.
I'm sorry.
off.
I thought the pool was already approved. So yeah, okay. So there's like no
No.
patio around the pool. There's no, yeah.
Well, that was my
Okay.
question. You know,
What does it look like?
you know, what's going on, really? You know, of critical importance, you know, is where is the state wetland? That's not and the local wetland, and getting all of that.
If I could jump in also, this is Seth Furman. We had the wetlands out to the property. I don't know if you remember from the first time that we all spoke. We had them come out and they informed us that the wetlands start at the lake and that we were fine with all our setbacks, and we designed the pool. And actually I had the pool company do this, which is why it may not be exact in terms of the patio and so forth, but there's a very good chance that the patio will just be grass will just be grass and there won't be a patio. But the setbacks are, according to the Department of, according to the Wetlands Commission who came out there, we are absolutely fine.
Yeah, this is the line right here.
Yeah, who actually came out?
It was a young woman. Joe, do you remember her name?
Oh, was it from New York State DEC?
I think so.
Yes, it was a DEC
Yeah,
representative.
you know what it is? You actually have a local wetland that's closer to the pool than the lake itself.
Yeah, that was my understanding.
Yeah, we have an application before us next door to you, and they mapped the wetlands, and it came out, the distance between your pool and the lake, it came out about halfway from between the lake and your pool is the last flag on the adjacent property line. So you're probably gonna have to get a soil scientist out to the site to look for the local wetland.
John, I just want to understand, this is Adam, the pools are outside of the wetlands buffer?
Probably
Yes.
not, Adam. So based upon the property next door,
Yeah.
it looks like the local wetland's about 50 feet closer than the state wetland. So that would put at least in this proposed location, the pool 50 feet into the wetland buffer. But we don't know that for sure. The applicant has to get the local wetland flagged. And
Thank you.
then the town engineer has to go out there. So, I think that's a critical piece of information we need nailed down before we know how to deal with the pool.
So can I ask another question?
Sure.
So it's really the location of the pool, it's not the pool itself, because we have the setbacks if we relocated in other areas where we would not have to go to the wetlands. So for example, where I'm not sure who's making that mark. But for example, if we relocated the pool so that there was no question of the setbacks at all, would that be an easy thing to do, I guess, is my question.
Yes, but where do you know where the septic system is?
The septic's in the front of the house.
Okay, so, depending on, we have to see where all those lines and setbacks from the septic and from the
Right, of
wetland,
course.
where all that, where that all falls into.
Yeah.
But don't
so-
you still need to know where the wetland line is anyway, don't you?
Yes,
Yeah,
we do.
yeah.
So,
But in
so
other
the
words, it
next,
would not be in, once you know where the line is, then you can maybe move the pool to not be in it, right? To
Exactly.
make it easier, right? But
Yes.
we still need to know where the wetland is. Okay.
Yep. So I think that's the best thing what we should do at this point, Joe and Seth, is, get that line down and then come back, and then we'll know, right? If it's outside of the buffer, I'd say more likely than not that you'll just be sent to the building department. If it's still within the wetland, then we'll have to have a further discussion about it in the buffer.
Okay,
Now we also need to see what it looks like.
right.
Yeah, I
A
mean, we must see
rectangular
where-
box isn't.
Right, we need we need the plan, whether that's, if it's relatively
been-
flat and there's no regrading, some just spot elevations, put the septic system location on there, because you're going to have the required setbacks.
Adam, also it's the question of the pool versus the patios in the pool.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, that's what he told me. All right, thanks.
Yeah, so I think we'll just, put this over, come back with that information, and we can re-review it at the RPRC. Is that okay for the committee? Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah,
Yes.
Adam,
Yeah,
Adam, I would
yes.
suggest that once they flag it, to let our office know.
Yes,
Don't wait to come back to the RPRC. Let's
Agreed.
agree on the line. So
yes,
that when they come back, we're all in agreement.
yep, so,
And it can move forward at that point.
Seth and Joe, you understand that, and
So
what,
if you could, so we'll get the local wetlands commission out.
no, what you're gonna do is hire a soil scientist to go out and flag that wetland, okay? And they're going to say, in their professional opinion, this is where the wetland is delineated. At that point, your wetland scientist should call the town engineer, and they'll come out and look at where those flags are and basically say, yes, this looks correct. And then once that line is agreed upon, come back to us at the RPRC.
Okay,
Design.
and so in reference to the addition itself, that's a separate subject, and it seems like from the comments that I heard, you guys are in general basically okay with that.
Yep, I would say
Okay,
that's correct. Are you, do you want to separate them? You can do that. It just
Well,
would be added fees for you.
I understand. It would be helpful because I have my whole crew
Okay,
there building right now. And
Yep.
it would be very helpful to not send them home, when. because
okay,
they're
so
moving along
let's
quickly.
discuss that. Is the committee okay with the proposed addition minus the pool at this point, and having them go to the building department for that right now? You're,
Well,
for-
Adam, do you see there's no risk again of the local wetlands buffer? Just that the
I,
addition,
I would think that it would be very, very close to the buffer or totally outside it, but where this addition is going on is in line essentially with the existing house.
Mhm.
So, you know, it's lawn there. I think it's appropriate.
I mean, I understand the applicant's desire to just move forward. I just would want to also ensure the applicant that when they do this, the wetlands marking, that we don't discover that for whatever reason that addition is in the buffer.
Look, that's a
That's
possibility.
and I'm just putting it
yeah.
out that you guys are just so the professionals can opine on that. Adam, John, Rob,
Well,
is
if
that
you-
a risk? Is that a risk or it's an unrealistically low
I mean,
No,
probability?
no, I think it could be. It could be.
Well, if the committee's okay, then they can flag it. We can go out in the field, look at it and agree that it's outside the 100-foot.
That's
Can they-
perfect.
Can they then proceed right to the building department without coming back to the board for the addition?
Okay.
Yeah.
But if it does need the wetlands permit, then they'll come back for the pool and the addition and a review of those wetland issues.
I mean, the field to the right side, and of course, I understand what you're saying. The field to the right side it's a field. It's not anywhere near the, you know, getting closer to the lake. Actually, where we've already been approved for the addition, the original addition to the house is much closer than this is. This is sort of, you know, relatively speaking, far away from there.
Yeah.
But I will hire the scientists and have them come and flag it.
Okay. So, all right, so I'll make a motion to send the addition without the pool to the building department, so long as a wetlands permit is not required.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so I think we're all understand, right? Seth,
Yes.
you understand what we did?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
And Joe, can I ask you, do you, because I don't know exactly who to go to hire, so I just need referrals, I guess, but I'll find them. I'll speak to Joe off.
Yeah, speak to Joe.
Perhaps look at the application of the neighbor.
Oh, right.
And use the
Yeah.
same soil scientist that they used.
Right.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
recall off the top of my head who that was, but yeah, do that because they'll be absolutely familiar with what's
Yeah,
happening.
no worries. I'll find it. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right.
And call, okay.
You still there?
I'm still here.
Okay, when they're headed out there, call our office and just speak to Susan. Maybe she could come out the day that they're flagging it.
Okay.
Make it move a little quicker for you.
Thank you very much. Okay, thanks.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna go to 1613 Old Orchard. Let them in. Okay. 1613's up. We have Marlene here, right? And Diane. Do you guys want to go through your plans with the committee?
Oh, good morning. This is
Good morning.
Diane. Adam, did you want to go through it?
I can, sure. We usually leave it up to the applicants. To
Oh,
do it, but
sorry.
I'm happy to do it. No problem. I'll pull
That
up.
would be great. Thank you.
Yep.
And I'm happy to add.
Yep, just jump in whenever you want.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Okay, so what we have is a new house on a vacant lot. It is along Old Orchard, surrounded by Cranberry Lake Park. And here's a good idea of what lot we're talking about and its relationship to the road. Okay, so here's the site plan. So a few things. So I think the most critical issue here on this lot is there appears to be a lot of wetlands around and on this property. So getting some understanding of exactly where that wetland and wetland boundary is going to be important for us to understand. You know, driving by and looking at the site, you know, this all might be wetland or wetland buffer. It's hard to tell. I mean, just from looking at it, it looked like there were a lot of Phragmites all over. Now, that doesn't mean it's necessarily all wetland, but it's something we should look at. In terms of other site planning issues, we don't want cars backing out onto the road, right? You have a very narrow driveway here. So there's going to have to be some turnaround so cars can maneuver in and out of there. I think another piece we need to closely look at is the architecture of this house, particularly the sides, right? I think they did a very good job on the front and rear elevations, but the sides, I think, well, John, we've got John here, so he could comment on that. And
We're muted because the phone was ringing. Yeah, I mean, we could send it to architecture review. Now, I was looking
Yeah.
at the site plan. You said it's a vacant lot. Is there a building coming down? Because it looked like there was another, like,
no,
what's
there's
that
a
other-
house. There's a house next door.
But it didn't show like where the property line ended or something, right?
There
It
is a
looked kinda
house
weird.
next door that
I'll show you.
has been
where.
there for many years, but in fact, it's always been a vacant lot and we used to have a garden on it.
Like,
There's
I'm
a
just not seeing
house-
where the property line is.
So this
Like-
is the this is the
Right.
property line here.
Where?
See that?
Yeah, so does the property line go through the house? Like that other house is
No.
inside the property line, isn't it?
No, that
If I'm looking at
the other house is right here.
Right. So where's the property line between that house and the new one?
Right
Oh,
here.
cool.
Here.
Is that it? Okay, all right,
Mhm.
okay,
Right
all
there.
right,
Yeah.
okay.
Adam, is this something that should just go to the planning board at this point since it's all in wetlands?
Yeah, I think so. So if it does go to the planning board, we'll be able to work on the site plan. We'll be able to figure out where the wetland buffer is. And it's a requirement to go to the ARB. So I think that's warranted with what we're seeing.
And this is a conforming lot, right?
Well, it's a building lot.
And
Conforming.
this is water and sewer, right?
There is
Sewer.
a
Sewer, there's
force
sewer.
main, right? Sewer there. Yep.
Okay. So it's sewer and
I
well?
don't know about water. Is there water there, John?
No,
We
don't
have
need a well.
we have a well on our other
Right.
property, at
Yeah.
Okay.
1610.
Okay. Okay. But I mean, as long as you have the sewer, then that makes life
Mhm.
easier.
Adam, can you just explain why it goes to the planning board rather than the conservation board? I thought that it goes to the conservation board and then we issue a recommendation, or it's just that the issues are too varied. What's the
Uh,
explanation, please?
Well, if a wetlands permit is needed, it would go to the conservation board. Absolutely.
Okay, but.
I think you're looking at planning to determine it, right? Because it's a
Correct.
new house on a vacant lot, it would go to planning,
Correct.
and then
Okay.
planning would refer it where it has to go, right?
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
that's exactly correct.
In
Yep.
theory.
Thank you.
I just want to make, this is Marlene Durand. Hi, I just want to make a comment that, this is a topographic map that is fairly old. I don't know if anything has changed. One of the values of it, it's one that our father got made at that time when he also owned the adjacent house, which incidentally he had built. The Durand family's been in this area for 100 years. So I don't know if it's valuable to get another topographic plan now to see where things are now and have the wetlands staked out, prior to that topo survey, or whether you first go to, I don't know how it goes. Does it first go to these boards and they tell us to do that or what?
No, if you have some reason to think that there's been grading since you have this information, then yeah, you would want to do that now so that the site plan is designed correctly and you don't have to, deal with incorrect information, right? If you have incorrect topo information, then everything's going to be off as you design it. So yeah, you want that baseline information to be correct.
Yeah, the topo, I mean, nothing's been done to the lot. The neighbors that own the house you see there for the last 30 years did, I believe they got a town permit, put rocks all over their yard between their house and our property to raise the level of their land. But that didn't, so there's a drop off between theirs and ours, but that shouldn't affect our property. The only thing else that has affected our property is the town always had the drainage from the hill of Old Orchard, which is the east side. The drainage of Old Orchard goes onto our property, and you can see that they recently redid the road pavement and left no curb between our property and the hill, sort of in the lower right side of so the water from the hill runoff goes into our property. And the other thing is there's on the adjacent property, which is owned by the Aiellos now, you can see that pipe that was laid by the town in 1961, I want to say, and the town has right of way given to them by the Ryans in the late 60s. Ryans owned that property then, and that has a constant discharge of water, which you can see at the end of that pipe. And that has always maintained the wetlands on our property,
Sure.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I don't know, why the pipe wasn't, if you look at the top of the screen, which is the west side of the lots, that has a steep drop off in a natural stream. And so when they put the pipe in, I don't know why they didn't run it to the natural drop off. Then it would stop discharging for all these years, water into our
further
property.
into the property is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, they could have put it to the back of the Ryan's property, now the Aiello's property, and instead, and this is constantly pouring out. If you see it, you'll see it. It's because it leads to a natural spring that's up behind. It comes from Jenny Clarkson home. There's a natural spring that's been there for, at least 100 years, and it's not going away. And so, that's kind of puts us in a bad position. It's all this water going onto our property. That could have been avoided.
But it looks like the swale between the two properties were always probably a natural feature. The water probably always ran through that area. And that's
Well,
why
there's a stream in the back that is a natural stream that you sort of see it, towards the top of this
Yeah,
picture.
it looks like it probably always flowed through there. That's probably why they put the pipe in at that location, because that's where the water was flowing. But probably the best step is to have a soil scientist flag the wetlands. Call our office, we'll come out and verify it. And then you would have a surveyor locate the stakes. And at the time he locates the stakes, he can update the topography at the same time.
Yep.
And then you have a good solid base map to work from.
So you're saying proceed with that next, or do we wait for a?
No, I would do it. Look.
The
Yeah,
board's gonna need to see that when you make your application.
Yep. Yeah, you really want to start with that. You want to know where the wetlands are, because that's going to be an important piece of information. You want the right topo. And you're going to need that to get the right plan.
Right, and we should tell you that, we're not planning to build this house ourselves. We're trying to determine if it's a buildable lot so we can sell it as a lot.
Yeah, well, it certainly will be more valuable if you can say a house is ready to be built. So
Right.
yeah, that's fine. You don't actually have to build it. Yep.
Okay.
So with that, I think you guys have some good direction. I'll make a motion to send this to the planning board. And then if that passes, when it's in front of the planning board, it will have to go to the architectural review board and probably the conservation board as well for the wetland permit review. So I'll make that motion.
And can you give us some sense of timeline here? Because we're new to this.
Sure, but let's finish up, see if we have a second on that motion.
Okay, sorry.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so
Aye.
Diane, let's get back to timing. So the
Yeah.
so the first step is for you to get the wetlands surveyed and delineated and the town engineer to verify it and update the topo at that point. Once you have that base plan, then you would submit to the planning board. The planning board meets every 2 weeks except in August, where we meet once a month. And then the submission deadline is 2 weeks before meeting. So as soon as you compile everything and have that base information, submit it, and we'll put you on the next open agenda.
Okay.
You'll have to prepare more likely than not, because you're going to need a wetlands permit, a 2-to-1 mitigation plan. So, get that in, the house that you're proposing is not large.
Right.
So, that seems to be appropriately sized.
Okay.
But we're gonna have to work out all those details,
Great.
right? The better the plan, the quicker it can be reviewed, essentially. But, I think we have all the good sense of what the constraints here are. And it's not that, there aren't that many issues. There's significant issues, but there aren't that many. We know what the constraints are here.
And is there any way, Adam, do you think the town would think about extending that pipe so it goes back to the stream itself? So it's not continuing over all these years. We used to have a huge garden on that for years, and we have many photographs not that long ago to show that there weren't cattails there. It's actually gotten wetter over time as opposed to not.
That does happen. Right. That's in fact, we require a new delineation every year or so. Like, we won't rely on something old because
Okay.
the boundaries do move.
Yeah.
But we certainly can talk to the highway department. I don't know where their drainage easement ends, right? So they
Right.
can't go outside of it. But when we come into the planning board, we'll refer it over to the highway department as well. I don't
Okay.
know if you have any initial thoughts, John, on that.
No, not until we
Yeah,
really
yeah,
take a look
we'll have
at
to
it.
take a look.
see what's
But yeah,
going on.
we'll look at it.
We, as you probably saw, if you go to the end of this plan, we included old photos from 1978 when our father had this great garden. And that whole area, he had the house next door at that time. It was back in his name. But if you go to the very end, just for historical interest, we put in some.
Yeah.
This is you can see that's looking across the street at our house at 1610 Old Orchard Street. That
Mhm.
in fact we still in the family. And then
Mhm.
here's looking at the side house. That's the Poppy Ryan's house. He was like a grandfather to us. It's the Ayala's house now.
Mhm.
And the last one is looking towards the back of the property. And this goes way back. This is the very back. We had removed the people from this, but actually there was, my sister was standing in the middle of this barn. Diane was back there. So it's really pretty far back. That was 1978.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah. Okay, so we should get the wetlands delineated. And then is there something more when we do that? Did you say we have to submit a new plan to
Yes,
planning?
you want to, once you have the wetlands soil scientist scheduled, call the town engineer, see if they can come out and take a look. And
Okay.
Then they're going to update. You should have the topography updated as well at the same time.
Okay.
When they put wherever that wetland is delineated, it will
Yeah.
be located on a survey. So have the surveyor update the topo at the same time.
Right.
And then you'll submit to the planning board and we'll get the.
And then
proper-
there's an application on the planning board site too, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Thank you
So
very much.
sure. So we'll see you soon.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Take care. Okay. Next we have 5 Mead Road. Let me get them in. So we'll see you soon.
All right, take care, bye.
Okay, take care. All right, Sean. Sean, if you could turn off the YouTube, that will, otherwise we'll get a feedback there.
All good? Can you guys hear me?
All good.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Sean Walters. I'm a landscape designer hired by Wagner Pools to work on this project. It should be noted that a previous project was actually seen by the committee and approved. And that project was held up in the building department due to an issue with the previous pool contractor, unfortunately. Wagner Pools was subsequently hired. I was brought in to assist with some design.
Okay.
And we are now featuring a smaller pool, smaller patio area, tucked in closer to the house, therefore further away from the sloped area, the wooded area, and the 100-foot upland review line for the adjacent wetland. So what we're walking out here today is a less
Sean,
environmentally.
do you have the
disruptive.
plans? Can you share them?
Absolutely, sure.
I think that's the number one issue. So has the town engineer or John, have you guys verified that wetland boundary?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. So that, that's the key, right? As long as you're outside of that wetland buffer, this looks like, a nice plan.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we're the previous design, which I thought was a very nice design also, by the way. Here's the wetland buffer, and we can use this outcropping of rock sort of loosely as a reference point. The buffer goes roughly halfway through that rock. Here it is on this plan. So you can see that we've pulled back considerably on the new design. This is a 15 by 35 pool, whereas the first one was a 20 by 40, excuse me. And you can see that the patio areas are now sort of located in a manner so as to minimize any disruption to the slopes and the trees. The previous design would have involved the removal of about 8 trees. Here we're proposing the removal of 1 tree that is at the edge of the lawn. And as you know, trees at the edges of built areas and especially lawns aren't really in good shape. I included a picture of the tree. It's got some deep cavities, a lot of pruning activities from previous owners. The tree is on the decline. And of course, a wall we're proposing to create a terraced area. The wall is it's curved. That curve actually brings it in closer to the 98 contour. Therefore, the wall is only 3.5 feet high. It would have been 4 feet high, triggering engineering and some other, review by the town if the wall was straight. So, nothing's arbitrary. There's a reason for all of it. And basically, we're proposing to, replace some planted lawn, universally frowned on, because it requires chemicals, irrigation. It's compacted from maintenance and recreational activities, thereby accelerating stormwater runoff into adjacent areas. And we're going to replace that with an engineered pool and the patio areas. So we think that at the end of the day, this design is going to be less environmentally disruptive, even than existing conditions.
Yeah. Okay. So any thoughts from the committee or John?
Sean, I just have 2 comments.
Yes, sir.
I think it's a very nice plan. The Westchester County GIS map shows an area to the left side of the pool on this plan where there's a depression. And it looks like water from the road runs down through that area down to the lake. And the Westchester GIS actually shows it as a pond. Now, I understand there's no pond.
No, there's no pond there for sure. Yeah.
But it may be an issue, an area where you should take a look. If you can blow that up, you can make that plan larger. We'll be able to see the area.
Here we have so here's a hill. We've got a 198, you know,
Yeah,
there's a
we-
lot of
see where that-
mounds.
You see where that pipe is discharged, right at that location?
Yes,
Yeah, you see the swale that
Mhm.
comes up through there towards the road?
this one.
And yeah, it goes up towards the road. Yeah, I'm just wondering if anybody looked at that.
Or 98,
Yeah.
you're referring to 98, I think?
Yes.
Or 98.
See that area there? The
Yeah.
county GIS is just picking that up, Adam, as a location we should look at just to be sure. That was one item. And the second item was where you located the stormwater infiltrators. It was right behind the retaining wall.
Correct.
Okay? It's just something you don't want to introduce water behind that wall. I know you're trying to stay away from the trees. I mean, it'd probably work a lot better on the downhill side of the wall.
Right.
Because you just don't want to introduce water behind the wall. It's just looking for problems with the wall. If you have
Okay, I mean,
below
this
the
was-
wall or to the side.
Yeah, and not being an engineer, I can't feed too much into that. I mean, it was engineered. You know, the engineer was satisfied that this system would work. But I'm not arguing with you because I'm not.
Oh, I'm sure the drainage system would work. It's the wall I'm concerned about. I'd hate to
Sure.
see that wall be damaged in a few years because of the water being introduced behind it. Those are my only two main comments.
Understood. Thank you.
All right, so should we move this to the building department, subject to this project not needing a wetlands permit? And if it does need a wetlands permit, then we'll take another look if those areas do turn up to be regulated. Is everyone amenable to that? Adam, you're okay with that?
As long as it's gonna be, we'll get it flagged and then John will review it.
Yep, exactly. And if it does need a wetland permit, then we'll circle back.
Yeah, I don't
Yes.
even know if it needs to be flagged.
How
Because
do you-
right now, I think, Sean, you're using the pond, the edge of the pond as a boundary.
Yes, I mean, we're showing the 100-foot, you know, presumably was flagged for the previous project that was approved, and Rizzoli Engineering was the firm that conducted that survey. And so this is the line that was on the previously approved drawing also, and we're so far outside of the 100-foot line.
Yes. So what we'll do is, if it's all right, we'll just have Susan go out to the site, walk the boundary of the pond,
That's
and just
even,
take a look at that depression area.
that's even easier for
Yeah.
you, Michael and Sean. So we'll have the
Yes.
town engineer just go out. Okay. Just hold on 1 second. Okay, so then I'll make a motion to send this to the building department, subject to the plan not needing a wetlands permit.
I'll
Anyone want-
second that.
That was John. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, so we'll post all these comments later today. And then just follow those instructions and coordinate with the town engineer and the building department next.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a great day, everyone.
Take care.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, next is 23 Whippoorwill Road for a deck. Let me pull up those plans. Okay, so this is very straightforward. There's an existing wood deck and some decks that are second floor above, and they need to be replaced. It's essentially the same, except the stairs are going to be relocated. Right now, they're coming down in these two sections at angles. They're going to be replaced with a stair up, a platform, and then a stair up to the deck. Let me just zoom out. You can see what we're talking about. So this is existing conditions. And actually, maybe that's proposed.
I think
So
that was a proposed.
you're right. Okay. So the
So they're
stairs.
they're doing
Yes.
one
Okay,
stairway. as
right, here it
opposed
is. One
to-
stairway, right, with the platform up.
Yeah.
This gets rebuilt. This deck gets removed and just replaced with a safety railing. So there are no issues here. It looks good.
You know, looks fine to me. Looks
Okay.
like an improvement.
Yeah, it is. It is. It looks nice. So I'll make a motion to send this to the building department.
I'll second that.
Aye.
Who was that? That was John?
That was me.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
All right.
Okay, and we have one more for a pool. We talked about this at I think 1 or 2 RPRC meetings ago. Let me pull it up. 246. Sure.
Adam, what happened to that legalization of that deck that Pete submitted for?
I don't know. What is that? I didn't have it. Anything else? Did I miss it?
I don't know. I mean, should have been on this agenda. Because I mentioned to
Not
Val,
sure.
there was a legalization of an on-grade deck.
I don't know.
All right, hold on.
246. Okay, so. Oh, this is not what we needed. Not what we need. Okay, so we last left it where we wanted to get some additional screening along this property line. There wasn't that much low screening here, and it's open to the property next door. The applicant came back and actually proposed additional screening on the other property line, which is fine, but we were really talking about I don't know if that's to the south or not, but to the bottom of the page. Let's see what else I have here. And that's all I had. John, anything on your end?
Really, the infiltration system has to be 50 feet from the well.
Okay,
So they're gonna have to move that location. They're gonna have to schedule the testing. I was just wondering about the access. So they have to take down the wall to gain access to this pool area? At the end of the driveway?
I mean, how are they gonna get this up?
Yeah,
Everything in? Yeah, I don't know. Good question. Yeah. Yeah, and then this is really steep right here, existing.
yeah. So one just wondering how they're planning
Yeah.
that, whether the disturbance is gonna be expanded.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. They're gonna have to do something here.
And is it easier to go around the house?
The other way?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Avoid the septic, but they might need a construction access around.
Mm-hmm. Was this the one where you thought that these walls might be in excess of 6 feet? or no?
We asked them to put some grades on it, some spot grades.
Yeah,
And oh, you know what it is? The boulder walls are quite high.
yeah,
They only show a 2.5 foot detail on the plan, but the walls are, I think, 7 feet high.
right. Well, if that is the case, then we can't approve it. We can't approve a wall over 6.
Yeah, the boulder walls on their plan show a height of 6.5 feet. However, the details are only showing it at 24 to 36 inches. So I don't know if they're thinking of stepping, 2 smaller walls here, and they just didn't depict it properly on the plan.
I see. So they're saying the bottom of wall and top of wall are for both walls. Is what you're saying?
I believe so, but
Okay.
it's shown as one wall.
Right, but it's not.
It's not. It really has. If it's 2 walls, you need a separation in there.
Well, then that's what they're
Between
gonna
the
have to do, right? They're gonna have to do that.
Yeah, they're gonna have to show us that detail.
Yeah, and then just make sure that no one wall is over the 6, because that needs a planning board.
Correct.
All right, so is the committee okay at sending this to the building? And we'll get the screen, as a condition, we'll have them address the screening on the other side of the property to my satisfaction, if the board's okay, committee's okay with that.
I'm fine, but can you also add John's comments, which were very good as far as accessibility?
Yeah, of course we will. Yeah, all of his comments will incorporate into.
Yeah,
the-
perfect. Yes, I'm okay with that.
All right, so we'll send to building, address comments. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that concludes our meeting. Thank you.
Well, did Rob find out the other one that was missing?
Yeah, what happened with that?
It's on for next month. It missed the deadline.
Oh, okay.
I didn't realize
There
it
you
missed the deadline. It felt like it was long ago, but I guess not.
Okay. All right. Okay, everyone. Thank you.